So the reason I teach history so much, first of all, I'm fascinated by history. When I was a kid, I didn't like history. History was my least favorite subject. It was the most boring one. It would put you to sleep. But also when I was a kid, during fiesta time, where we celebrate Don Diego de Vargas, who did the reconquest of New Mexico, they would come to our school on horses. People dressed in Spanish conquistador clothes with the armor, with the Spanish flags, and they'd be coming to our school and doing little reenactments of the conquest and teaching us our history. So I always knew I had sangre de conquistador, but I just didn't give a fuck at the time. Well, as I grew up and matured, I started giving a fuck. I started caring about my history, about my ancestors, because like I've always said, you have to know where you come from to know who you truly are. So I began reading books whenever I could, mostly when I was locked up, because that was the time when I actually had the chance to sit down and read a book. Because when I was out here living that fast life, everything's too fast, can't sit down and read a book. So when I was locked up, I started getting my hands on all kinds of history books, mainly New Mexico history and the history of the Spanish conquest in the New World, in the Americas. So I just began to study it and study it and study it. And I read so many different books about the same subjects that I kind of memorized the stories. So in a way, I kind of became like an expert in New Mexico history. And a lot of people don't know the stories about New Mexico history. They don't know about the Pueblo Revolt. They don't know about the massacre at Acoma. They don't know about the battle at Glorieta Pass. They don't know about a lot of these things. So I started to teach them. And it began as a hobby, putting these videos together. First of all, they're not easy, so I hope you guys appreciate them. I enjoy it. It became a hobby. So it gives me something to do now that I'm out here and I'm not doing drugs anymore. I'm doing good. I'm taking care of my daughter. I'm just trying to do the family thing. Well, now it gives me something to do. And second of all, a lot of you people don't know the correct stories. See, history was written by the victor. Whoever was victorious was the one who survived to write the story and tell it. And that's why I take a deep dive into both sides of the story. Like for instance, when it comes to the Pueblo Revolt, I'll read stories from the Spanish people who wrote about it, and then I'll read stories from the Pueblo Native Americans who wrote stories about it. Then I could get the truth, or at least most of the truth, more of the truth. It's not a one-sided truth, at least, if that makes sense. So the main reasons I teach history, because it fascinates me, because I want to teach anybody that's listening about New Mexico, about my culture, about where I'm from, about my people. And I want you to understand how history worked, how it really went down. Not that watered down version you heard in middle school and high school, but the real version, the brutal version, the version that they weren't allowed to teach you in high school. So anyway, I hope you guys listen to my history stories. I'll keep them coming. If you have any requests, let me know. I appreciate you watching. So thank you for watching. This is Tragedy. I'm out.